Hello and welcome to another 31 Days of Horror 2017 video. As you can see, it is just I. Leslie is not with me, even though she did watch this film with me. Essentially, we'll put it this way. She said, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Or, well, yeah. Because we watched an Asylum flick. She does like the ghost story, so I figured, hey, let's watch A Haunting in Salem. Yes, it is a movie on this 4-pack DVD here. And yes, like I said, it is from the Asylum, who are well known for their mockbusters and low-budget fare, and they've done oodles. I mean, they had a trailer on this regarding, they've been in business for 15 years and done, at least 100 movies plus. So this film is from 2011, and it's directed by Shane Van Dyke. Now, this is not his first director. This isn't like the first movie he's ever directed. In fact, he's done 3 films previous to this: Paranormal Entity, Six Guns, and Titanic 2. Yes, you may have seen those in the Asylum catalog. But oddly enough, he's actually more known for being an actor. Yes. You may know him as the character Alex Smith from Diagnosis Murder, or from anything including Arizona Summer, the 2 TV movies Murder 101, The Locked Room Mystery, and If Wishes Were Horses, Shark Swarm, and again he put himself into Paranormal Entity, Six Guns, and Titanic 2. He was also in Super Shark and Transmorphers Fall of Man. Yes, a lot of Asylum stuff going on there. So he is somebody who you may have seen his work before. Then again, you may have not seen his work before. The writer on this particular film is H. Perry Horton. And this is his first film that he's written. And since then, he went on to do Two-Headed Shark Attack, Shark Week, 40 Days and Nights, 100 Degrees Below Zero, and Mega Shark vs. Mecha Shark. Yes, Asylum does well for their own. So what is the film about? Essentially, the film is about a sheriff who relocates with his family to Salem, Massachusetts. Yes. With almost immediately, I guess, discovers that the house that they've moved into is haunted. It's plagued by, it's cursed. It's got some, evil spirit. It's got some bad mojo going on. Thus the Haunting in Salem title for the film. And, and so, bad things happen. So the sheriff in question here is played by Bill Oberst Jr., who, he's not the prettiest looking fella, but he's one of those guys who's done a ton and continues to do a ton of low budget indie films, small parts, short films. He's in all sorts of things. He's also in regular television shows. I mean, he did a small role in True Blood, which is oddly enough probably where I knew him mostly from, even though he was only a small part in one episode. Desert Sun, The Devil Within, Dogs of Chinatown, High Climber. He played Hines in the TV series Killspin. If you ever watched that show 1,000 Ways to Die, he was in a bunch of those episodes. Again, Circus of Dread, Scary or Die. I don't know, a whole bunch, like tons and tons and tons. I mean, the guy keeps working. Not all horror, but generally low budget stuff. So he's one of those guys you may recognize the face to. You may even recognize the name if you do. Oh, Krampus. Krampus the Christmas Devil. Not Krampus, the big Krampus the Christmas Devil. He was in that one as well. That's another thing I thought I'd mention. His wife is played by Courtney Abiati, who hadn't done much beforehand and hasn't done much, well, anything since, as far as I know. She was all right. She didn't seem to mix with him. Bill is a very, gruff-looking character. She seemed more like a very, like her eyebrows were, well plucked and well groomed, like done to the max. Like, she seemed like somebody who was well done. He didn't seem like somebody who was well done. So the mishmash of the two, I don't know, just didn't seem quite to go together. But then again, opposites attract. Anything is possible. They, of course, have 2 kids. The daughter is played by Jenna Stone, who this was not her first role. In fact, she, up until this point, had played the role of Danielle in Misbehave, the television series. And she's gone on to do a few other films and shorts and such since. The son... This is actually his film debut. His name is Nicholas Harson, and he's gone on to do a few things here and then, small TV series things, small shorts, a few films. So, he's a working actor as well. So it's nice to see them continue on, and not just in Asylum films, which is always a good thing. You don't want to get, necessarily like, the director and writer roped in and stuck in with that company. You want to branch out, right? But back to the film, what does this film have going for it, and what did it not do very well? One is the location. It really helps this film. It's a very, very, very old house. Most of the scenes take place in the exterior of the house, the stairwell in the house, and then I'd say probably the bathroom in the house, with a few extra shots being in bedrooms, both the master and the 2 kids, the kitchen, and then this other room that happens to be there. But yeah, because this is an old house, it has a lot of old moldings, and I don't think they had to do a lot of set dressing in this film to make it work, which is always a problem with these type of indie films. When they have to, they don't have a lot of budget, and they don't have a lot of money to spend on these type of things. So often when they're trying to do things in an empty area, they fall short, because it literally does seem empty. This house did seem like it was full and, lived in, essentially. And I kind of got the impression that most of the furniture and stuff was not their furniture, but came with the house, right? So that way it worked together. Now, I'm not sure that all of the scenes, the locations that I mentioned are actually in this one house. It's possible that the exteriors and the interiors are completely different houses, and who knows? But I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't, and this was all just done in one location. Rent it for a week, shoot everything, and go from there. There were a few other locations and such for exteriors. Yeah, you can tell it's late. Leslie's already in bed. But yeah, like I said, the house itself really did help the film and allow for this atmosphere. The acting was actually not that bad, and the directing wasn't that bad for the most part either. So the story they were, telling wasn't really poorly told. The problem comes, I think, partially from the directing, but mostly from the writing. Is it's a very weak story. It's a really simple story, and I guess a lot of times they have to be when you're on these indie quick, turnaround type things. Part of the problem here is you get this. Unlike say something like The Shining, where you get a family moving into a new location, and there's this slow descent into madness. This film, really, I mean, it's only about an hour and a half. I don't even think it is an hour and a half long. So it really moves along at a quick pace. So you have to get to know the characters and have things happen to them, and have the essentially they try and play off the sheriff, the father, as having PTSD, and so nobody believes him. But at the same time, a lot of the stuff I only think this film takes place over the course of like 2 or 3 days, and so when you think about it, a lot of the stuff that happens in the film, there isn't enough time given to it to really make it seem genuine. I don't want to give too much away, obviously, but the family essentially turns on the father, and because of the way he's acting and stuff. But it's like he hasn't really been acting too weird. And yes, obviously there must have been some stuff in the past before they got here that they're bringing along with them, but we don't get to see any of that. We just get told about it, so you kind of just assume that that's why. But considering everything seems good to start with, having this quick reversal of faith, I guess you would, in this father figure, just seemed out of place a little bit. And I think that's part of the problem is how quickly they try and push this story along. It could have used even like an extra 15 minutes and giving more of the scares that the father is experiencing, and giving more the eldest daughter has this, I guess, an online relationship that she starts with somebody, and there could have been more of those two things going along with the the son and the wife, just sort of filling in to have interactions with these characters, but really it should have been the eldest daughter and the husband, the father figure, more of their story being told, to get to the point where we end up in the climax of the film, which essentially happens really, really quick, because it's just one event after the other, and then boom, climax. So it's like I said, it's a really fast-paced story. Not necessarily a fast-paced film, just a fast-paced story where so much stuff happens one after the other, that you really don't get this sense of slow descent into madness that you're supposed to get. This there just needed to be more time shown, more time, more development of these events taking place. And another part, I guess, that happens to fall on is the director, who does a decent job considering this is an Asylum film, which has a tendency to have some really poor directing. Where I think the director failed in this film, outside of the pacing and probably needing a little bit more padding to tell these stories, is he does attempt to jump scares and stuff like that throughout the film, really. and some of them, they fall like flatter than flat. The music tries to build it up, and it's almost like they were afterthoughts. Like you could tell the way they were shot. It didn't matter what you were going to do. There was no scare going to happen, but the music builds it up anyways. Simply because I think it's like, oh well, yeah, I kind of wanted that to be a scare, but I guess I didn't pull it off. But whatever, make the music do it, and we'll see. Maybe somebody will get scared or something like that. But there are a few moments where the jump scare is okay, and then others where it just doesn't work at all. To the really uninitiated or those who scare easily and stuff, I think that a few of the jump scares will probably work really, really well. But for the horror aficionados, those who watch horror films on the regular, you're probably going to find that there's no real tensions or suspense going on to build you up to these jump scares, and when they do happen, whether they're quick ones or like I said, build up with music and tension, a little bit of tension. They're just not going to really do it for you. But on the good side, the effects work in this film is pretty good. I mean, it's not like amazing stuff that with the stuff we can see these days, it's wow, they can do a lot. And I mean, you don't have to be spending a crap load of money to get really good effects. If you just know what you're doing, you can get these things, and heck, you can do a lot of stuff. You can go on YouTube and find amazing makeup, how to do amazing makeup, how to do amazing latex effects, and all, like just amazing stuff. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't take much to pull off amazing work. So I won't say this is amazing, but it's it's good, considering how bad sometimes they really are. Whether it be blood, guts, zombie, dead things. They do a pretty decent job with the makeup. And honestly, I think a few of the makeup effects that they've done in this film probably took a while to pull off. So I can only imagine that while everybody's shooting all these scenes, the makeup person's in the makeup truck trying to get whoever to make these things. And I wouldn't be surprised if they shot all of the makeup, well, not all of them, but anything they could with this person in makeup all at at once. Get it all done. It doesn't matter, where they are or something, just because probably would have taken a long time. And why spend the money on having your makeup person do that over and over and over again when you can just have them do it once, shoot the 3, 4, 5 scenes that person may be in, and you're good to go. You're golden, right? I mean, you're not expecting a great film when it comes to A Haunting in Salem as soon as you see The Asylum. Honestly, I like I said, Leslie bowed out. She wasn't even willing to come down here because she had nothing good to say. If I was to rate it out of 5, I'd say 1.5. It is not something I would recommend to anybody unless I knew you're into what I call bad movies, those low budget films, things from The Asylum, the old, like Roger Corman films, any of those really low budget, Full Moon, Trauma, like if that's your thing, that's what you're into, and you can't get, you're not gonna get behind, big budget horror films, like, yeah, okay, you like The Predator, you like Halloween, you like your Jason Voorhees and your Freddy Kruegers as much as the next guy, but you really get your kicks out of watching, killer bees swarm around cities and people running for their lives because of, Sharknadoes are coming or something like that. If that's what you're into, you're probably gonna dig some of this. It is a lower budget. It's not schlocky so much like, the killer bees and the Sharknadoes, but if you dig your lower budget horror films, that are less original and just more, hey, you know what, I like them for what they are, then yeah, A Haunting in Salem is right up your alley. The only thing that could probably make it better is if it was schlocky, right? But yeah, no, the Haunting in Salem is not for most people. It is not something that I will, partake of on a regular basis. I may watch this film up to, a handful of times over my lifespan. But in all likelihood, I probably won't watch it more than once or twice more, and that'll be it. And then put her to bed. Anyways, let me know down below, or wherever the comment section is these days, if you've seen A Haunting in Salem from 2011 from the Asylum, and what you thought of it. Again, try and keep it as spoiler free as possible, just like we try to do here on the channel. But yeah, love to hear from you. Love to hear your thoughts on films you've seen. And you know what, even if we say we don't recommend them, did watching our videos say, hey, you know what, it sounds terrible, but I want to watch that movie, let us know. I don't know why you would, but hey, let us know. Whoa, I just disappeared. Down below, love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. More 31 Days of Horror 2017 to come, because yeah, we have not hit 31 yet, so time is running out, but we can do it. So keep watching, more to come. Thanks for watching. Till next video, take care. Have a good one.